Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. In the series of where planets give their best results, we have also started the series of where planets may give their toughest results. Now when we talk about toughest results, it does not mean that a planet gives the toughest results or the worst results in a certain house. However, what we are talking here is it gives tougher results when compared to its better place results. Say for example, a planet gives good results in a certain house and not so good results in the other house, then it is always relative. It does not mean that a planet, if I say doesn't do so very well in the 6th house, means life is destroyed about the areas of the planet because it is placed in that house. Nothing good will happen to you, all worse things will happen to you, nothing good will come out of that placement. That's not what I mean here. What I mean here is that when I said planets give good results in certain houses, it means it gives you much better results in certain houses when compared to the others. In some other houses which I call as the tougher placements, I'm talking about here compared to their best placements, you get more challenges here. You need to probably work harder to manifest the results of the planet, and every now and then challenges will also be thrown up to you, questions will be thrown up to you, and you may have to swim against the tide, work harder to be able to extract better results from the planet because it is placed in a certain house. That's what it means. So please look at this video also in that light. Rather than look at a planet in a certain house as destructive, look at it as comparatively not so good when compared to their best placements. So let's start with Venus's tougher placements in certain houses. Let's start with the first house. This may be a surprise to many people that Venus in the first house, benefic, it should give great results in the first house. And sometimes we are led astray because we assume a benefic in the Lagna in the first house always gets or gives us best results. So here we are, because we are talking of not the toughest placements but tougher placements. So for example, Venus in the second house will always be better than Venus in the first house. Venus in the 7th house will always be better than Venus in the first house. Venus in the 5th house will always be better than Venus in the first house. That's the comparative analysis we are doing of Venus placed in the better houses versus not so very better houses. So Venus in the Lagna in the ascendant may not give you the toughest results or destructive results or the worst results, but will give you tougher results and not so good results when compared to, for example, Venus in the second house. So what happens, and why am I saying Venus in the Lagna may give you tougher results? Let's look at the good things first and what challenges may come out of the good things that Venus gives you in the Lagna. Venus in the Lagna in the first house in the ascendant usually gives you very good looks, or it makes you very presentable. It also gives you softer looks, very attractive looks, where somebody, when they look at you, they may want to give you a second look, maybe want to spend more time with you, maybe want to get to know you also. However, the problem with this placement is sometimes the attraction of others is more superficial. People get attracted towards you, people want to be with you more because of what they see you as rather than what you are deep within. So because the attraction, the want to become closer to you is all superficial, many of the connections that you establish, especially in your younger days, are all because of the superficial connections rather than strong connections. And because Venus gets very strong in the 7th house in the Libra sign, obviously when you get into a house opposite your best house, you lose a lot of strength because you're also not getting strong directional strength here also compared to the 7th house or compared to the 4th house where Venus does exceptionally well. So here relations or connections remain superficial. Secondly, Venus in the first house makes you very, very ambitious, wants to get you, or at least you want to get all the goodies in life. You want the best of houses, you want the best of material success, you want the best of partners. So what happens is, because sometimes your expectations are not realistic with Venus in the Lagna in the ascendant, you end up chasing, always chasing something or the other. you're either chasing materialism or money, or you're chasing the luxury, you're chasing the better quality of life, or you're chasing a partner, or you're chasing a relationship. So this is the struggle always to get more, and Venus in the Lagna never allows you to be completely happy and satisfied with what you have. So sometimes it doesn't give you to your expectations, because of which you remain frustrated, expecting more, wanting more, and so the chases on throughout your life. Sometimes it may give you enough, yet you don't feel you have enough. So you continuously chase. Somebody who has exceptionally good looks thinks that the world should be at my feet. I should become a good model, I should be a good actor, people should love me, people should put me on a pedestal, people should give me money, people of the other gender, maybe of the same gender, should throw themselves at me, and so on. But it may not happen. One of the reasons is that the first house also has Aries energies, Mars energies. So here their goals are very high, goals are also tougher to get from what you are able to get. Venus is a planet of softness, sophistication, so it may bring that softness, the sophistication, the good looks, and the fine, expecting the fine qualities of life to come to you, or having a finer taste of life. However, to get the finest taste of life, you're always struggling, you're always chasing something or the other. So generally, even when sometimes Venus may give you a lot, there is always a frustration, there is always a hunger to do more, could have gotten something more. And so sometimes I've seen with Venus in the Lagna, even when a lot of material success may come to people, a lot of good looks may come to people, yet the deep down satisfaction that Lord has given me a lot, I'm very blessed, I have everything to be grateful for, I'm truly happy that whatever Lord has given to me, wanting to say a prayer, that type of reciprocation to the zodiac doesn't come out. You ask people in the Lagna, even when they have a lot, have you lived a blessed life, is there anything you want to achieve, they will always tell you one thing which has gone missing in their life, which they had not got enough, or where they think they have lacked, or they need to still chase. So a life of chasing all the time, sometimes you get some of it, yet you're chasing it, sometimes you don't get much of it, still you're chasing. So if you're able to curb your instincts, curb your hunger, be more grateful, be more happy and satisfied with what you have, this can be a better placement of Venus in the Lagna, where good quality of life may come to you, material success may also come to you, but with a lot of effort, with a lot of hard work, and with a lot of patience, and being ready to let go of certain things which you may not be given to the abundance that you expect. Now let's go to the second placement of Venus, which is tougher than the others. Here I'm talking about Venus in the third house. Why I'm saying Venus in the third house is a tougher placement? Not that it gives you tough results or destructive life or the worst kind of placement. It makes you work harder to get those results in life, where in some other house it may give you easier. So Venus in the third house may force you to work much harder to get a good income, to get a good livelihood, to be able to get ahead in life, for example, compared to Venus in the second house, for instance. So here I'm not saying that you get destructive results, I'm saying you get tougher results compared to Venus's better placements. So here Venus in the third house will make you work hard for everything connected to Venus, or most things connected to Venus. So for example, Venus in the third house will make you work hard on your communication skills. But here zodiac also gives you, if you work hard on your communication skills, you may be somebody who knows to speak 2 or 3 different languages, you may be very sophisticated in your communication, you may be very refined in your communication. When you talk, you seem to be able to influence people much easier and much better than the others. Many of the people who have Venus in the third house can be very good on the social media. Generally with Venus in the third house, you will find these people are extremely photogenic, which means when they post pictures on Instagram, these people seem to be having the best pictures. They may not be as good looking as Venus in the Lagna in the first house, yet their pictures on the social media, on Instagram, may be more liked. They may have more people who are following them, liking them, commenting on them, and their ability to influence people also may be very high. However, to get to that placement, you need to work really hard. Venus in the third house can give you beautiful handwriting, I'm talking of especially those people who may be older than 25 years, because nowadays I find students or children most of the time typing on the laptop or busy using their thumbs on their phone. So this gives you a lot of refinement. It gives you some skills which you're really good at. You may be very good at cooking, you may be very good at dancing, you may be very good at singing. There will be one art which you will be very good at. You may even be very artistic, maybe to painting, maybe through drawing, or being very artistic with the use of your fingers and with your hands. So some results Venus will give you fantastic results, but will make you work hard. Venus in the third house may also give you good results if you want to do something of your own, where you have to launch a self-enterprise, whether in business or with some people becoming a consultant in certain areas of life. For example, you can be a good consultant of IT or finance with Venus in the third house. However, still it's an upstream task. It's not easy. You'll have to really work hard over a period of time, years and years of slogging of parents together, meditation together, before you reach success. So this can give you good results over a period of time through a lot of hard work, through working hard on your influencing skills, working hard on your marketing skills, branding skills. But you can do very well later on in life, because if you are somebody, if you are a person who can influence others the best, who can be the best salesperson of their own skills, of their own products, of their own enterprise, of their own services, then you need to have Venus in the third house. Now Venus, which gives tough results in a house, how can you miss out Venus in the sixth house? Now again, Venus is not truly destructive here, it doesn't finish you off here, but Venus in the sixth house means Venus is going into the house which has Virgo energies, natural Virgo energies, and Venus tends to get debilitated in the sign of Virgo. So what it does here is, Venus can always give you in the sixth house some challenges at any given point of time. There will never be a dearth of challenge. If there is one area of your life you are very good at, there will be some area of the life which you will be very pricked at. So generally, for example, if you have a lot of money, you will be completely a disaster in terms of relationships. The relationship will never be something which comfort you or have comforted you, and there are less pitfalls there. Or if you have very good relationships, you have long stable relationship also, then the money will be really a dearth. Money will just not come in. So there will be one area of life which seems to be inimical to you, which seems to be your enemy, where you don't seem to attract enough goodness from. And hence sometimes Venus in the sixth house, especially if connected to relationships, because your Venus is in the 12th house to the 7th house, which has Libra energies, where Venus has its Mool Trikona sign. So many a time there will be always some loss which Venus will have to contend with before moving ahead. So either it will be a loss of one relationship which leaves you heartbroken, or you lose money, or you lose opportunities before the awakening comes to you that this is not what I want to do. And so there is always some challenge with Venus in the sixth house. It could be also a challenge of relationship. It could also be a challenge at work, where somebody at work is always making you work harder for the promotion, for the gains, for the moolah, for the increment, for the higher livelihood. So you have to contend with something in life which always seems to be in opposition to you. Even in your young days, maybe to attract a good suitor, you have to again compete with somebody else who may also be vying for the same girl or vying for the same boy. So it's not an easy thing. You have to always fight to be able to get that what you want, and that is one thing which is missing. And sometimes if you get one thing, other thing seems to be going missing. So sometimes with Venus in the sixth house, I find people who have with excellent partners, but the money is not there, the work is not doing so well, then they focus all their attention at work to be able to get ahead, to keep the partner happy and satisfied. But in doing that, they tend to neglect the partner so much that by the time they feel that they have achieved something, the relationship doesn't seem to exist. So with Venus in the sixth house, this is a strong balancing act. It's not an easy placement, because somewhere or the other the struggle is always seems to be there in your life, almost sometimes throughout your life. So if you have to contend with this placement, keeping a lot of patience, being more grateful, and not expecting too high success in life, and being more content with and trying to balance between your relationships and what life has given you. If you are able to do that, then you are able to curb the negative tendencies of Venus much better here, than continuously chasing something which may be keeping you off your tangent, keeping you off your target, keeping you off leading a more beautiful life, more contented life, more peaceful life. The next placement and some one of the tougher placements of Venus is when Venus gets into the 8th house. Again, this is not the destructive placement of Venus where you are finished, everything will go wrong for you. This is a placement where I am talking where Venus gives you tougher results than Venus, say for example in the 7th house, or Venus in the 5th house, or Venus in the 7th house for example. So your Venus in the 8th house sometimes tends to give you challenges both in the terms of your relationships and in terms of shared property, shared resources, or money coming from your efforts, because here Venus has gone into the 8th house of obstacles, upheavals. So you will always find that there will always be one crest, one trough in your relationship, which means this is a roller coaster ride. Sometimes your relationship seems to be going very well and suddenly you don't find what hit you. Your relation seems to be diving. So one has to contend with the ups and downs of lives and the suddenness of life every now and then. There are a lot of mysticism, mysteriousness to this placement also, and this is a placement where you are thrown into one river and you seem to be sinking. You put in a lot of effort to rise to the top. You're barely panting, you're out of breath, you're put into another river, you again are sinking to the bottom. So sometimes on the surface things seems to be all good. So when people see you, if you have Venus in the 8th house, when people see you, people may think that everything is hunky-dory. It's only deep down what currents you are facing, what tide you are facing of swimming against, only you know. So external factors may be all good. Same thing about your relationship also. However, there will always be one or the other struggle which you are doing. So you get one and then you're struggling for the other. You make do with another second one, then another one comes up. So this is always a roller coaster ride all the time. This is a placement where it is good if you are more independent of shared property, independent of your needs, independent of how much you depend on others emotionally, because here it also tends to sometimes give you a sudden challenge, a sudden heartbreak also, where you expect certain things to come to you and they don't come to you. Why give a chance to the zodiac or any other person to be able to take you down to the pits and leave you there? If you are more independent, if you are more satisfied on your own, if you expect less from others, if you depend less on others, then you are better off. Especially for example in shared property or in taxation or in finance, this can be a troublemaking placement. This is a good placement for maybe inheritance. You may inherit money from parents, maybe your mother. You may also make good money where your spouse may also be earning. However, then if there is one thing which is good, the other thing seems to be in a roller coaster ride all the time. This is also a placement where you may attract attention from outside forces much higher than the others, because this has a lot of sexual intimacy energies also. So sometimes you may be in a stable relationship, but sometimes for the reason of zodiac wanting to throw you a challenge, that you find attraction from outside sources. People want to get closer to you, and so this is a tough placement to be able to keep them at bay, to be able to keep away from that enticement. If you fall for that enticement, then you are sucked down into another hole from which it's very difficult to come out of. The other thing it does is it may also give the enticement to your partner, where the partner is facing suitors even when you are in a stable relationship. You always seem to attract these forces which are testing your relationship, testing your ethics, your morals, testing the depths to which you can go, the pitfalls that you can go to. It wants to suck you into the seductive forces that the skin may represent. So it's not easy to contend with these forces, or may also pull you into something where you chase money, maybe through some unethical means also. So it's a little tough placement. It's not easy to deal with. So with Venus in the 8th house, your ethics, your morals, your standards, your values have to be really very strong, so that you don't get sucked into that seductiveness, that frustration, that anxiety, that hunger and greed for those things which should be off limit to you. Sometimes it can give you addictions, sometimes it can also get you into those addictions which are very difficult to get away from, including drugs, including drinks, including pornography, especially if there is any malefic also involved, either through conjunction or through aspect. So one of the toughest placements of Venus is Venus in the 8th house. As long as if you are able to contend with it with a lot of ethics, moral values and you're able to keep certain things off limits, then this can be a good placement for long-term success. After you have gone through all the ups and downs, this can give you money in the long run. But it is best to invest money in the long term here rather than falling for quick money. Then Venus may throw biggest challenges at you, and those are the collective challenges that Venus can throw at you if Venus is placed in the 8th house for you. Now Venus in the 9th house, this is a little tricky placement. Again, I will not tell that this is the placement which destroys you, it's a destructive placement, you are finished with Venus in the 9th house. On the contrary, Venus in the 9th house can be a very good placement for you, but with some riders and with some tough challenges which you'll have to face before Venus becomes the gain bringing planet, which it can give you in the 9th house. Why I'm saying this is one of the tougher placements, because it is a tougher placement when compared to Venus in the 2nd house, or Venus in the 7th house, or Venus in the 12th house, or Venus in the 4th house, for example. So comparatively this will give you tougher challenges and it will not make it easy for you to get gains in life. So this is also because the 9th house has Sagittarius energies. Sagittarius is the moon trikona sign of Jupiter. Jupiter is also a guru. Just like Venus, the Shukracharya is also guru, but these are of the opposing clans. Two leaders of opposing parties. How can the leaders have great relationship with each other? They can have great respect for each other, but definitely they will still compete for space. So when Venus gets into the 9th house, Jupiter's energies here don't allow Venus to get education easily or higher learning easily. So here it limits you from which areas of life you can get higher qualification from or higher learning from, and usually it gives you higher learning the hard way. So it limits you. So generally Venus in the 9th house, I have found that people generally get education in either IT or finance or the softer subjects, like for example philosophy or arts or history or sociology. So they may get into those, or they may get either into IT or finance. So these seem to be the general subjects which a person seems to get easier access to and get higher qualification in. Other subjects, for example engineering, a person has to really work hard to be able to get higher qualification, and the second thing is to gain from it. Venus in the 9th house may allow you higher qualification, but generally I have also found that Venus in the 9th house also means generally you move away from that degree, that qualification that you have got, and you get into something else. So you get the qualification, you may even do very well, but you end up doing something very different from that higher learning that you have got. So that is one way that the zodiac is teaching you a lesson. The second thing here is also that many a times you want to take an educational qualification because you are looking at a more materialistic goal here, where you're thinking that if I take up this particular subject, I may have these opportunities, I may be able to gain this, I may be able to do well professionally, I may be able to have a good life, and so on. However, this gives you more challenges on the relationship front, because your higher learning has to come to you in your relationship, in your social connections. So sometimes the life also throws up those challenges at you which are not easy to contend with on a relationship front, because Jupiter, the planet of higher learning, wants to teach you the lessons connected to Venus, connected to intimacy, connected to love, connected to romance, connected to relationship, and how to balance those relationships. So here in a relationship you may find tougher results than from your material resources, and even in material resources may not be from the educational qualification you have got, but doing something else. This is a good placement for earning more when you are traveling long distance or getting connected to people from different cultures. Maybe even your spouse comes from a different caste, or your girlfriend or boyfriend comes from a different culture. But this is also a placement where the connections are very rewarding for you. Those connections where you're meeting people from across cultures, maybe even getting education and then meeting people, different kinds of people from different cultures, is a very rewarding experience. So if used well, ready to work long hours over a period of time, then more stable results come to you with Venus in the 9th house. So slightly tougher placement than Venus in other houses, but a rewarding placement if you are ready to learn the high lessons of life and be at it, and be patient enough to wait for the good things have to happen in your life rather than be in a hurry. So friends, now that we have discussed in which houses Venus may give you slightly tougher results than the other houses, which means that in the other houses Venus will give you better results or neutral results rather than the tougher ones which I talked about in the houses that we spoke today. So find where Venus is in your horoscope, and don't be demotivated because your Venus is in the 6th house or Venus is in the 8th house. As long as you are able to contend with the challenges which I have told you about, that Venus can throw at you in these houses, and if you're patient, if you're ready to understand those challenges and you work towards them and keep in your good ethics, keep your good morals, and you're ready to bid your time, then you will find that over a period of time good results will come to you. Venus is a benefic planet. It will not let you down as long as ethics, morals, values and relationships and those connections are important for you, and you don't let them down. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Until some other time, some other video, this is your friend, astrologer and guide Irfan, signing off. Ciao.